You know, I keep seeing people saying shit like, since Tom Brady has 5 Super Bowl titles, that means he's the greatest quarterback of all time, right? Joe Montana had 4, or has 4. Ted Bradshaw has 4. Even though I'm not really an NFL guy, but I know that Terry Bradshaw was not quite the talent. He was good, but he wasn't the talent Joe Montana was, okay? And me personally, I think Joe Montana was a better quarterback than Tom Brady. A lot of people like to bring up numbers, but they don't take into equation the rule changes, which is one of the reasons why you have quarterbacks now throwing for 4,000 and 5,000 yards with so much regularity, despite the fact that it took, 20-something seasons for Dan Marino's passing record to be broken as far as yardage. But all of a sudden now you got quarterbacks just throwing for so many yards. And they like to say, oh, well, it's just a generation, they're better. They're so ignorant and stupid and so uneducated that they don't understand to take rule changes into evaluation. It's all about rings with these morons. Tom Brady, he's the greatest now. He got 5 Super Bowl rings. That means he's the best of all time. So, since it's all about rings, to you nitwits, to you fucking lima bean brain buffoons, since it's all about rings, you know what? The greatest center of all time, suddenly is Bill Russell. Hey, I know Bill Russell, he is a top 10 player in my opinion, but hey, because he has 11 championship rings, that itself and alone makes him the greatest center of all time. Even though, I can formulate an argument as to why he's not, because ring trumps all evidence, scientific evidence, factual evidence, whatever. Common sense, rings trumps everything. Even though individually, Wilt Chamberlain's dominated him. Individually, he's get like 29 points and 29 rebounds per game against Bill Russell. Or Russell used to get something like 20 points and 14 rebounds against him. Good numbers, but Wilt Chamberlain's getting behemoth numbers. But hey, it's all about rings. So Bill Russell's now the greatest center of all time. According to the new Tom Brady / New England Patriots logic for measuring greatness, the greatest power forward of all time, hey, it's not Barkley, it's not Karl Malone, it's not Chuck, Sir Charles, it's not Elvin Hayes, any of those guys. It's Tom Heinsohn. Hey, because you know why? He got 8 championship rings. And of course, like I said before, rings trumps everything. Skills, stats, individual performances, the playoffs. Hey, it's all about rings with these idiots. So guess what? I was wrong all these fucking years. The greatest power forward of all time is Tom Heinsohn. All right? Tom Heinsohn with his 8 championship rings makes him the greatest power forward ever. Congratulations, Tom. You're greater than Timmy. Hey, don't get mad at me. These are the new rules that's been handed out by the dumbed down, Homer IQ having Tom Brady fanatics out there. Larry Bird's 3 championship rings, LeBron James 3 championship rings, just are not sufficient enough to be for GOAT standard, okay? When you got to be recognized as GOAT, it's all about championship rings. And that puts John Havlicek at number 1. Now, John Havlicek is a top 20, 25 all-time player. But, hey, it's all about rings. I mean, who cares that Havlicek only shot at, 44%, under 44% for his career, while LeBron James and Larry Bird are close to 50%. Doesn't matter. Legendary playoff moments, the great regular season games that show that they were consistently better players than Havlicek. Doesn't matter. Havlicek's 8 championship rings trumps it all. This is the one that hurt the most, man. I mean, I just had to. I know Michael Jordan has 30-point per game scoring average and the 6 final MVPs, the 6 championships, the 5 regular season MVPs, the 3 All-Star MVPs, the 9 defensive all-first-team selections, the 15-time All-Star? I forget. I lose track, man. So many different All-Star selections, man. So many different accolades, the 10 scoring titles. The 2 steals titles. It just goes on and on with this guy, man. And he's universally recognized as greatest shooting guard of all at the very least, if not greatest player. But according to the new New England fanboy, dumbed down, nerd / geek criteria only rings now. I call it the Skip Bayless criteria for recognizing all-time greats. Sam Jones, man, 10 championships. I mean, that's 4 more than Michael. I mean, what can Michael do to possibly compare to that? 4 championships. I mean, it's a big gap, man. I mean, that's all that matters. The championships. Doesn't matter that Michael Jordan's a better player. It's all about rings because, Tom Brady has more rings than everybody else now. As far as quarterback, to all other things, even though he's never been, he's not amongst the yardage leaders, touchdowns, none of that. It's about the championship rings. So, the same thing has to apply everywhere, right? So, Sam Jones is now the greatest shooting guard of all time. Sorry, guys. Not my fault. Blame them. This is the great K.C. Jones. According to the new criteria, he's better than Magic Johnson and Oscar Robertson and every other point guard you could think of because he has 8 championship rings, all right? Oscar, as great as he was, he only had 1. And Magic only had 5 compared to K.C. Jones' 8. Never mind the fact that K.C. Jones was part of that dynasty team, as all these players were. It's all about rings. So, therefore, that's it, And then when people, you make these comparisons, they say, well, the Boston Celtics only play when there are 8 teams. Well, New England has been playing it consistently the worst division in NFL history. A division that consists of my horrible Bills who haven't been to the playoffs in 20 years. The listless Dolphins. Right? And the hapless Jets. We've only had maybe 2 or 3 good seasons in the last 15, 20 years. That's the division they play in. And you wonder why New England pads their record every year. But this is the new standard. It's all about rings. This is the new sports world. Full of idiots and morons. Only look at championship rings. Only want to be part of winners. That's all I gotta say. K.C. Jones is now the greatest point guard of all time. This is what we come down to.